Good evening. Welcome to DFS Golf with Tony. My name is Tony. We're getting ready for the Arnold Palmer Invitational. And I got to tell you first, here's what I need you to do. I need you to, wherever you're listening to this show, hit the like button, subscribe, tell people 5 stars, do me a favor. And hopefully I'm going to do you a favor today, and we're going to get some winners. We're going to be winning together. And also, check out all the things on iLogic Media. They got some other great golf shows. They got cooking shows. They got everything you need in life right here at iLogic Media. Now, let's go first to the last week before we go on to Arnold Palmer Invitational. And I gave you my lineup last week. You can always download the shows on iTunes, Spotify, the podcast versions. Of course, you can go to iLogic Media, or you go to my own Facebook page and check it out. First off, I gave you Jon Rahm, right? Jon Rahm tied for 32nd. He didn't do anything great. He didn't do anything bad. But here's where I am with Jon Rahm. He switched equipment this year, right? Switched golf clubs. I'm done paying a premium price for a man that switched golf clubs until I see some results. So Jon Rahm, 32nd. I played him one and done. It came in 17th. He's not killing you. But when I'm paying $11,000, I need better than that from Jon Rahm. And I do understand why. Great golfers switch clubs because it's in the money, right? They're getting paid. They're getting endorsements. So I get it. But as a DFS golf guy, it's taking money out of my pocket, right? Taking money out of my pocket. So Jon Rahm, I'm done with. Done. Whoop. Until I see things going. If you're watching this thing right now live and you want to fire comments, fire some comments. I think I'll be able to answer them. You never know. I'm kind of like that. So watch the show live. I do it around 6 o'clock. You check it out on my Facebook page each and every Monday. If not, just watching it wherever you watch it and listen wherever you listen. Tony Finau, 14th. He was good. But this course last week, we saw guys like Dustin Johnson blow up. We saw Bryson DeChambeau shoot a 77. Tony Finau had some really good holes, and he had some really bad holes, and he finished 14th. You know what? I'm not even pissed off about my pick there. Joaquin Niemann, he only had 1 round over par. He just didn't have the big day. So you paid $8,100. Wasn't a bad play. Wasn't a great play. It wasn't going to cash you money. Jason Kokrak, $7,100 last week we gave you, right? He delivered 9th place for $7,100. We gave you Sebastian Munoz, $6,500. 22nd. He delivered. We came through with the cheap guys, except for one. It was the one 46% owned Ryan Palmer. So if you're one of those guys that likes to stay away from chalk and you stayed away from Ryan Palmer, you paid off, man. You paid off. I don't think it's a necessity single entry head-to-head, but if you did, congratulations. Now let's move on to the Arnold Palmer Invitational. The Arnold Palmer Invitational this week, big course, over 7,400 yards. Once again, Bermuda greens. All right. Last year, the course had wind insanity going on, a ton of wind in that course. We don't expect that to happen this year. These are the categories that I focused on when putting my lineup together. Strokes gained approach. Strokes gained approach. Then we want par 5 scoring, birdies or better gained, and proximity gained after 200 plus yards. So 200 plus yards away. And these are the guys that we come out for this week, single entry. Where do you go at the Arnold Palmer Invitational? Well, let's start. Want to start on the cheap, or you want to start on a guy? Let's start in the middle. This is a guy that almost won a couple weeks ago, was right there and is playing good golf. And when I made my first lineup in my first draft, he wasn't in it. but I'm looking at all the boxes that I checked off on things we're looking for, and I'm saying, Sam Burns, baby. Sam Burns, $8,400 in this tournament. And I think course history matters a little. We're seeing some of the repeat guys do well. Sam Burns has a tied for 36th, tied for 54th, and tied for 49th. Nothing to write home about, but he did make the cut. Remember, we do have 65 in ties. We only have 120 golfers. Again, we're going to need 6 of 6 to make this cut. So jump all over that. But Sam Burns is a way better golfer than he was at this time last year. His statistics proved that out, all right? We're looking at a guy, par 5 performance, tied for 27th. Birdies are better, 11th place. We're talking about a big hitter on a long course. Sam Burns is a guy you could absolutely jump on this week at $8,400. You say, Tony, all right, you hit on the low guys last week. Can we hit on the low guys again? This is not a guy I routinely play. Not at all. Doug Ghim. No course history in this event. But his last 4 events, he had a cut, 21st, 37th, and 5th. So 3 out of 4 made cuts. We're paying $6,600. We got a limited field. Sets up okay for Doug Ghim. Say, Tony, show me more, show me more, show me more. And I say, 30th strokes gained, tied for 30th, and birdies are better. Doug Ghim that's playing well, missed that 1 cut. We throw that out the window. The last 3 have been there. Doug Ghim, $6,600. I think he'll be well owned. If you guys are doing some betting this week, the odds will be low with only a field of 120. Another guy that I don't have in my lineup that's cheap and it'll be big odds in betting, or if you use several lineups, Keith Mitchell plays really well in Florida. And he's a guy that I think you can jump on. I believe he's $6,700 this week at DraftKings. Next up is a guy that won it last year, Tyrell Hatton. Now, first, the negative on that. He won last year, but last year was a little different because of the wind. The wind was crazy, as like I said. Hatton has come into first, 29th, a 69th, but a tied for 4th 4 years, right? Ago. So you're looking at Tyrell Hatton, one of the top players on the European Tour, actually number 1, I believe, on the European Tour. See, some of the shows, they drink like really good beer and they drink like high alcohol beer. Tony, cheap domestic beer with very little calories. If you're listening, it's a Michelob Ultra. It's good for the vocal cords. So you're looking at Tyrell Hatton, right? And you say, Tony, Hatton's playing good. $10,000. Get a little bit of a discount on Tyrell Hatton, who could be the best player in this field at $10,000. A past winner, a past 4th place. Also, 11 strokes gained approach. 44th in birdies or better, and proximity 200 yards plus or better, 10th place. Hatton checks all the boxes. Tyrell Hatton is also the guy I'll be using my one and done this week. One and done. The other guy that I'm using in some of my ones and dones is none other than Sun J M. Sun J M. $9,700 for Sun J M, and I'm telling you right now, he's got the course history. 2 tied for 3rds. Twice tied for 3rd. All right. Also, 37th in par 5 scoring average. 24th in birdies or better. 1st in par 5 performance for Sun J M. Checking the boxes. 9,700, 10,000. Those are our core golfers. Say, Tony, where do I go now? Where do I go now? Well, I'm paying a little more for a guy than we usually have to pay for him. The field's good, but not great this week. We have a lot of the top European Tour golfers, but the Players' Championships coming up next week. A lot of United States golfers are over there right down the road from me, right where I live. So if you're in the area, you want to go to the event, hit me up. Or if you want to go to Mellow Mushroom and watch it, hit me up, and we'll have a little Mellow Mushroom. Mellow Mushroom is not one of those illegal drug places, folks. It's a pizza place. It's a pizza place. And they have drinks and cocktails and appetizers. It's amazing. Mark Leishman, $8,200. Mark Leishman came in second, 23rd, 7th, and 1st, tied for 17th in this event. All across the board, Mark Leishman's there. Big hitter, big course for Mark Leishman. Absolutely getting done. 27th proximity gains plus 200 yards. Par 5 scoring, tied for 35th. Mark Leishman, $8,200. Last but not least, of course, is Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk. Here we go. I love the way Hovland bounced back last week. Thoughts for him this week? That's a great question. Victor Hovland, I think, is a guy this week that is going to be one of the highest owned, right? We're still talking about a 23-year-old golfer that played his heart out last week and went at it hard. His problem is the short game. We don't have a lot of short game statistics that are affecting this course. So I think Victor Hovland is absolutely a play that a lot of people have, and it wouldn't shock me that if he's the highest owned golfer this week based on last week's performance. Like you take it from Patrick Reed last week, right? He was in 7th place coming into the final day, finished in 9th, even par. Patrick Reed's a guy that I think if he had a final day with Victor Hovland and he came through and he played really well, he'd be highly owned this week. I think if you look at a guy like Joaquin Niemann, right? He's a guy that's faded on some Sundays, and then the following week you can get him at 6 or 7%. But the weeks where Niemann puts it together, comes in 2nd place in some of those events, he was only like 25% the following week. Ryan Palmer, we kept talking about this week, was underpriced at 7,200. You got him at 46%. I think we're going to see that with Victor Hovland this week. So is he a legitimate play? Absolutely. Is he going to be heavily owned? I think absolutely. So we'll see how it plays out. We'll see how the models play out. But me, I'm off Victor Hovland in a single game lineup fashion. I will be off him in a head-to-head matchups. If I have where I'm putting multi-entries in, I'd be crazy not to put him in 1 or 2 entries, but it would probably be more like the 5 to 8% of my lineups with Victor Hovland. Last but not least, you say, where's Tony going now? Oh, yeah. This is a guy that I didn't really like until this year, and he's playing good golf. And if he's playing good golf, why wouldn't we put him in our lineups? Christian Kirk this week. Christian Kirk, $7,000 on DraftKings this week. Didn't play last year in the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Prior to that, tied for 15th, tied for 13th, missed a cut, tied for 12th. So we have 3 out of top 12 finishes from a $7,000 golfer. That would be good. But my expectations might even be higher for Kirk because he's 10 times a golfer he was in those years prior that he put up those stats. So this sets up really nice for a $7,000 golfer. 49th in shots gained approach. Doesn't fit the metrics, but based on past performance, this guy's overall game improving, I think Christian Kirk is the way to go. So you say, Tony, are we getting it done this week? I feel good this week. I feel confident this week. I'll tell you what, the last couple of weeks, we've gone with more of a stars and scrubs approach. And when you don't hit on the studs, you're done, right? We got balance here. We got balance. We do have Tyrell Hatton, Sungjae Im. We'd like to see one of those guys bring it home. But I think we could have 6 guys in the top 25, and one of them snares a 1 or 2, we're good. So to round it all out for you, Arnold Palmer Invitational. First golf is going to be Sean Burns. Sean Burns probably a kid I went to school with, 2nd grade. You have Charlie Brown lunchbox. Next up, Doug Gim, $6,600. Tyrell Hatton at $10,000. And, of course, Sungjae Im at $9,700. And, of course, there it is. Chris Kirk at $7,000. And Mark Leishman fills it out And he is your final golfer. $8,200 on DraftKings. Single entry lineup advice. You get it here every single Monday. You want to watch the shows live, you go to iLogic Media on Facebook. They got a lot of great shows. They're putting things together in all realms. They got a guy playing a little music. They got guys doing golf. They got fantasy baseball. Anything you want in life, they got. If they don't, you ask, and they'll deliver. I know there was a time when I did a show about Furbies. If you want a show on Furbies, you can make the request, and we'll see what we can do. Tony Sincata, DFS Golf with Tony. My name is Tony. Check in every Monday and make sure you jot down or listen twice, 3 times. Make sure you like the show on iTunes. Give me 5 stars. I need it, man. I need the 5 stars. I'm there for you. You be there for me. And together, we'll be absolutely great. There's not a lot of things to be great in life. And if we can be great at DFS at golf, we can do it. We can do it one stroke at a time. I'm in a stroke play. If you're in a match play, I get it. Tony Sincata, DFS Golf with Tony. I got to go. Sayonara.